Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Space Cowboy here. Welcome back to the channel with another video for you guys here today. As we touched up on it in the previous video, I wanted to have a more in-depth discussion when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, because now with a 5-game sample size and knowing what changes this Cowboys team made in the offseason, it looks like the results are not what we wanted to see, to say the least. And there are things that are going around in my mind where as the season progresses, if things go the way that they're currently going, it can go south pretty quickly. So that's what we're here to talk about and get our thoughts and opinions out there. And before we get any further into it, if you guys could do me a favor and hit the like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you're new and hit that notification bell as well. We're trying to get back on track here, so all that would be awesome. So let's go ahead and let's talk about what we're looking at offensively. So I did some note taking. I looked at the stats for where we are on the offensive side of the ball, and this is what I had to report. So the Dallas Cowboys are currently 16th in yards per game, 19th in passing yards per game, 10th in rushing yards per game, and in terms of points per game, 8th in the National Football League. So based off of what I'm seeing here, your passing game is a below average passing game in the terms of you getting yardage, which I understand that scoring is important, and you know you're doing your thing there in terms of being in the top 10, but it really feels like that's an element that hasn't improved from last year to this year. And I hate to say it, but it does look like that. And again, this kind of stems back to what changes were made at the beginning of this year's offseason, which was Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy agreed, all right, we're going to part ways. Kellen Moore is now in LA with the Chargers, ironically our next opponent, so that's going to be a huge grudge match there, especially if the Cowboys do not come to play offensively and the Chargers do. Now, one of the biggest things that I think a lot of Cowboys fans and content creators in general were not expecting was regression on the offensive side of the ball. Now, I can only speak for myself here, and I did not see regression as a possibility because, listen, you got Mike McCarthy coming in here. He's made it clear that, hey, Jerry, Steven, I need to do things my way on the offensive side of the ball if we really want to win some football games, right? And they made those changes. You got personnel to add speed to this offense, and you have taken a step back because you've been making changes in the offense. And I get it. It's still early on in the season, and things could change. And I don't want to jump the gun here, but I think it's time to start having a conversation about Mike McCarthy being on hot seat watch. And I'm not saying he's going to be fired at the end of the season. Again, we're still 3-2. We're still in the playoff hunt. I don't think we're going to win the division, but the fact of the matter is that you made these changes to make this team better, and the team has not gotten better. So from this point moving forward, what am I looking for? And if those things don't come to fruition, what are we looking at next? So what I am looking for is for this Cowboys offense to use the speed that it has at its disposal. Get Brandon Cooks involved any way, shape, and form. What you also need to do is you need to attack the middle of the field more. And more specifically, you need to scheme your guys to be in the best position possible to make plays. We shouldn't be trying to throw into tight windows. We shouldn't try to make things harder for everybody involved. That's what you need to do. And then on top of that, you need to be able to be aggressive. And again, situational football, if you're going to run the ball in a 3rd and short, then you're going to have to go for it on the next play. That's how I'm looking at this thing. And I know this is going to be maybe contradictory in a sense. I don't have a problem with you taking risks if it means that we want to try and get some chunk plays. You're going to have to take risks at some point. But just staying confined to attacking in the short to intermediate game isn't going to help at all. and you need to have a direct line of communication to your quarterback and tell him, listen, if he starts pressing, you need to tell him, yo, stop doing that. You can't just keep letting him out there to dry and let him keep making mistakes. So you need to have conversations when things are starting to get rough. And so from this point, we are on hot seat watch. We're not, oh, he is on the hot seat. We are on a hot seat watch. So, if things continue as they are, we're going to have a serious conversation about Mike McCarthy getting on out of here. Okay? And yes, that is a legitimate conversation that we should be having because of the decisions that he has made to get to this point. And as for Dak Prescott, is he on a similar hot seat watch like Mike McCarthy? I think so, but it's going to take a lot more for the Joneses to move the needle in a direction of no confidence for Dak Prescott. And I'm not saying that to defend Dak. I think it's just a matter of you've heard so many times where they've given Dak this whole, we're going to re-sign him, he's our guy, and they need to show that that isn't the case for us to start having those serious conversations. And the reason why I think it's more tangible for a hot seat watch for McCarthy than Dak is because with Mike McCarthy, he's made changes to the offensive side of the ball to where he thinks that's what it needs to be done. And that's typically something the Joneses don't do. So that's one thing. As for Dak, I think we would need to see how things happen in the 2024 offseason for us to get an understanding of where they truly feel about Prescott and where we're at. So maybe things get better. Maybe things get worse. We don't know yet. But we're on a hot seat watch, that's for sure. So with that being said, guys, tell me what you guys think down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.